Good afternoon, peeps. Good afternoon. Loads of fights on the weekend, right? Loads of fights. We're going to try and discuss as many as we possibly can. Hands up, I didn't watch all of them. I have to admit, I didn't. Like, I didn't watch Hrgovic's fight. I saw highlights of it, but I didn't watch it in full. So I'm not going to talk about the fight itself, but we'll talk about what next for Hrgovic. So we'll kind of do it like that for the fights that I didn't watch. I obviously did watch the Charlo fights, Josh Taylor fights. I watched the World Boxing Super Series as well. I watched the UFC. So, yeah, it was a long night. Or should I say long or early morning. That's what it was. My washing machine has just started to spin. Can you hear that? Hopefully you can't hear that. It's fucking spinning like it's going to take off. So I guess it's so loud. I guess the drum's gone, right? You know what, to be fair, I've had that washing machine. Like, fingers crossed it doesn't break down now. But even if it does, it's given me good service. I've had that washing machine for years. Must be well over 10 years. So well done, washing machine. But keep going. Keep going. Don't you dare break on me. All right, where should we start? Should we start with, let's start with Josh Taylor. Let me quickly bring up that fight card in full. Josh Taylor obviously had his mandatory, I think it's his IBF mandatory against Kong Song. That fight was supposed to happen just before COVID. I think it was supposed to happen in Scotland as well. Obviously, COVID came, it got postponed, and I think they've done well to put it on again. I think it was at York Hall Bethnal Green, right? Was it at York Hall Bethnal Green? I think it was. So he fought the unbeaten Kong Song and put him down with a body shot in the very first round. And that seemed to piss quite a few people off. Like, I was online, and not just your average Joe, but just boxing people as well. I think Lou DiBella had a bit of a rant, and that surprised me a bit. I don't know if you've ever been hit with a body shot. I don't know if most of you watching this have ever gone to the gym and had a little body spar. Fuck me. Like, I'm not a boxing guy. I used to box as an amateur, very small. I say used to, like I had 100 fights. I didn't, like, very small at Newham Boys Boxing Club. I'm telling you now, a body shot is just frightening. Like, frightening. You feel like you can't breathe. Forget the pain, and I think Kong Song probably did have a broken rib. You feel like you cannot breathe. So the idea of people like saying he took a dive, or he should have got up, or it's a disgrace, and blah, 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 surprises me. I can't lie, it surprises me. Now, it didn't look like the hardest body shot. I will say that. It wasn't like a Golovkin Macklin, for example, where he almost like chopped it in half. But it still was a very decent body shot. He landed right on the button. Did we all want to see Josh Taylor for a few more rounds? Yes, just because we've seen Josh Taylor in good fights recently, right? Baranchyk was a good fight. Prograis was a good fight. Ryan Martin, decent for a few rounds. Victor Postal. So we're used to seeing Josh Taylor in a decent fight that starts to warm up. Can't have it all, right? We can't have it all. He done what he needed to do. These fighters don't want to go overtime. That's it. Fingers crossed now with Ramirez beating Victor Postal, Josh Taylor getting rid of his mandatory. No doubt Ramirez is going to probably have a couple of mandatories as well, but this could be made now. The only thing is, and I said this before, that Bob Arum is talking about that fight can only happen with fans, which is disappointing to hear. I don't know why he's saying that. I think it can happen without fans, but look, who am I? Also on that fight card, Charlie Edwards fought as well. This is his first fight, I believe it is his first fight under Frank Warren. He went all the distance with Kyle Williams. Decent performance. Not amazing, let's be honest. It wasn't amazing, but it was a decent performance. I think that's the first time we've seen Charlie Edwards, again, I stand to be corrected, since he lost to Martinez. I think. Is it? I think it is. I'm trying to double check that, sorry. Yeah, it is. It is his first time. So, I don't know. Yeah. And he's gone up in weight as well, right? He's gone up in weight. So, yeah, let's see what he can do. Let's see what Charlie... I'm not going to pass judgment now. Again, I've always said that I think those lower weight classes are just frightening, right? Flyweight, super flyweight, keep going, right? Keep going all the way up. They're just frightening, and they're full of sharks, and good luck to him. So when I say, because I know I got digged out a little bit when I was saying, oh, I don't think he's going to win a world title again, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. I think a few people came at me. This is not me discrediting Charlie Edwards. This is just me talking about what's around. Like the sharks that are in and around those divisions. I mean, you can jump a couple of weight classes, right? You can try and be the big guy, the small guy. They're everywhere. They're fucking everywhere. Like a lot of people, for example, were saying like Chocolatito is no longer Chocolatito. We saw what he done to an unbeaten Cal Yafai. Literally just played with him and then boom. And that's not, by the way, that's not the best version of Chocolatito. That guy was 4 years ago. But we saw an older version, a past it version, even though Chocolatito is still legit, due to an unbeaten Cal Yafai. That's what I mean in terms of just what's around there. So we'll see what Charlie Edwards can do. All right, let's talk about Jermell Charlo for a few minutes. Took on Rosario, beat him, stopped in body jab in the 8th round. Didn't look that much, almost a bit like Kongs on what we're saying, but took the wind out of Rosario, right? Took the wind out of him, put him down in that fight twice before that as well. And it's funny because I was looking at the stats after fights, and in terms of like punches thrown, Rosario was on top. In terms of significant punches thrown, so the big shots, Rosario was on top. But I mean, Charlo just knows how to get it done. This Charlo, I think, is the better of the two, and that's not discrediting Jamal. I just think Jermell Charlo is legit. I think he's really, really legit. And he clearly is now the best 154 pounder. If you didn't think it before because of maybe Rosario, then I think we all know he is now. Credit to Rosario though, kept on going, but that body jab just took the wind out of him. And it almost looked like he was suffocating. Like he really looked like he was suffocating. I'm not laughing, it was just weird to see. Again, because it wasn't it was almost like, I don't even think Charlo threw it with mean intentions at all. It's just like he was trying to give himself distance to maybe throw something else. But again, once the wind's taken out of you, it's taken out of you. So a credit to Charlo. This is 2 good wins back to back now. The Harrison rematch win was good after the first fight, which some people thought he lost, some people thought he won, but he came back. So Harrison now, Rosario. I mean, you look at his record. I was just thinking, is he now a pound for pounder? Like, would you put him in your top 10 pound for pound? I would. I think I would. I mean, this guy's got 3 belts. And the only reason he doesn't have the 4th is the WBO was vacated by Munguia. And I don't know what's going on with that. Is Vargas fighting Liam Smith? I have no idea what's going on with that belt. But I mean, I look at his record. John Jackson, who was dangerous. Hatley, again, dangerous. Lubin was supposed to be a dangerous fight. He iced him early. Remember that? Iced him in the first round. That punch, right? So almost a surprise punch. Beat Trout. Trout put up a good performance. Lost to Harrison in a close one, but then has come back and he fought Cotta. Easy win for me. And then Harrison, then Rosario. Solid. What next for him in that 154 pound division? The only 2 that I can really, I want to see him fight is, I know people might not want these fights, but I do still want to see him fight Hurd. I still want to see that fight for some reason. And I wouldn't mind seeing Julian Williams. I wouldn't mind seeing those. I know people might not be high on those fights, right? Because, again, we're talking Williams coming off a loss, right? Coming off a loss to Rosario, and Hurd's coming off a loss as well. We haven't seen Hurd's coming off a loss to Williams. So, wait, 1 second, sorry, apologies. Is Hurd coming off a loss, or has Hurd had a fight after Williams? I don't think he has. Sorry, I just need to double check this. I want to get this stat correct. I know I can imagine you guys screaming at the camera right now, saying, knowing the answer to this, but I just, because he was supposed to have that fight against Williams, didn't take it. Okay, no, he's had a fight. See, this is why it's good to check. Francisco Santana, who was 25-7, that went to points. I still want to see Jarrett Hurd though. These are the only 2 fights I want to see, and wherever that WBO belt falls, right? That's what I want to see. Anything other than that, might as well jump to 160, as far as I'm concerned. All right, let's talk about his brother, Jermall Charlo, very quickly. Jermall Charlo obviously had that fight against Derevyanchenko, won it by unanimous decision. Good fight. Good fight. I felt like Charlo started sharp. Derevyanchenko started to come back into it like Derevyanchenko does. Remember I said this on the build-up to this, that Derevyanchenko, you can catch him early. Charlo caught him in the 3rd round and made him stumble a bit. But then he seems to go to gear 5 immediately. Like, he doesn't waste no time. He doesn't go 1, 2, no, gear 5. And that's what happened every time he got hurt against Golovkin and Denny Jacobs. Remember, both of those guys put him down. and they probably thought this is going to be an easy night's work, and then he just goes to gear 5 quickly, and that's what happened in this fight. He hurt Charlo a couple of times, by the way. He hurt Charlo with, I think, a left hook. Yeah, it was a left hook. Charlo went onto the ropes, and Charlo had to hold on for a bit. So Charlo had to dig deep here, and this was a very important win for Charlo. Let's not forget, since he's had this belt, he's fought no one, really. No disrespect to the opponents. He's had the belt, he's fought Hogan, he's fought Korobov. I mean, these aren't legit fights, right? In terms of cementing your place as the #1 in the division. Remember, he is the WBC middleweight belt holder. So I think it was an important fight for him. Someone emailed me, I don't think I've got time to check, but someone emailed me and asked, why did Charlo deal with Derevenchenko better than Jacobs and Golovkin? There's a couple of reasons why. Styles make fights, right? Charlo's different to those guys. Golovkin just stands and trades, uses his jab, but doesn't really move about. Jacobs, you could maybe say, is a bit more like Charlo, but then Charlo's now had tape to watch. He's had tape to watch against Jacobs. He's had tape to watch against Golovkin, right? Before, Jacobs probably wouldn't have watched much tape. There wasn't much tape on Derevenchenko against a legit guy to kind of pick holes in, right? And same really with Golovkin, whereas Charlo's had the benefit now of watching those tapes against legit guys and then picking holes in it. And that's what he did. He knew probably about that sort of mid-round where Derevenchenko comes strong. He stood in there and he closed out the show as well. He landed some good combinations in the 12th to kind of, just to make sure everyone knows he won that fight clean. And he did win that fight clean. But again, it was a close fight up until sort of round 6, 7. Then I thought Charlo started to step on the gas and just land the cleaner shots. Better work, in and out. Everything just looked a bit better from Charlo. What next for Charlo is the question. Some people might say he's the best 160 pounder in the world. Don't know. I don't know, because there are other guys out there now. We keep hearing about this Demetrius Andrade fight. Look, you know, what we kept hearing was Charlo going to DAZN. Forget that. Let's be very real. Demetrius Andrade doesn't do many sign-ups for DAZN. Fact, right? I'd be shocked at the numbers. So I wouldn't be shocked at low numbers. So why can't he go over? Why can't he just go over to Showtime and fight Charlo there? Why not? Why not? Honestly, why not? Let's do it, man. Let's do it. And then if that fight can't happen, then obviously we're going to hear the usual names. We're going to hear Golovkin. We're going to hear Billy Joe Saunders, Chris Eubank. But the fight I want to hear is Demetrius Andrade. I think that's a fight that's been built up over the years. I don't know if you guys have been watching behind the scenes with these two for the last, these two and the other Charlo for the last 4 or 5 years. They've always been digging each other, always. And it's a good fight. It's a good fight. Both of those guys unbeaten. Both of these guys 2-weight world champions. Remember, both had belts at 154 pounds. Both got belts at 160 now. Might as well. You might as well. Both of them are not scared of each other. I just think that Demetrius Andrade's got to go over. That's the only way that fight happens. There were loads of other fights on the undercard. Casemiro fought as well, didn't he? He now wants Inoue. Make it happen. Make it happen, please. World Boxing Super Series final. Briedis versus Dorticus. Briedis is serious, you know. Like, Briedis might be, when it's all said and done, Briedis could be a top 4, top 5 cruiserweight of all time. Of all time. Like, he's legit. Like, real legit. It's a shame that we never got to see, like, Briedis versus Gassiev. That would have been a good fight to see. But Briedis is fantastic. I actually thought that the fight was close through 4 or 5 rounds. And then eventually, look, we know Dorticus has got the power, but I feel like that power, I don't want to say it doesn't continue up until the conclusion of the fight, but obviously that power is going to start to wane. And Briedis just wasn't there for him to land those power shots. Briedis was fantastic counter-punching. He kept on slipping and landing lefts. Briedis is very, very good. Very, very good. Look, much as we talk about how good Usyk is, and we always talk about Usyk, go and watch the Briedis-Usyk fight. Briedis gave Usyk big problems in that fight. Usyk, obviously, was it a majority decision? 1 second. I'm pretty sure it was, you know. It was a close fight. I just can't remember. I'm pretty sure it was a majority decision. It was a majority decision. 114, 114, 115, 115, 113, 115, 113. That's how close that fight was. That's Brados is for real, you know, for real. A lot of people were saying, what does he do now? Does he go up? Obviously, because he's won this now. Do you go up to heavyweight? He's on the small side. That's the thing. I don't know if he can go up. He's 35 as well now. I don't know if he can go up, but he's had a good little run. He's had a good little run. And Dorticus was supposed to cause him problems. That judge that gave it 114, 114 needs to be arrested. Be arrested and charged with something. Yeah? That's what needs to happen. But well done, Braiders, for winning that. All right, Filip Hrgović fought as well. This is the fight I didn't watch. Didn't watch any of it. Well, apart from a little 2-minute highlight package. 2 secs. Trying to get, because I don't even know who he fought. Alexandra Kotozia, who's 8-1-1. Okay. There's nothing in it. It's just a case of staying busy. Yeah, I don't know what is going to happen with Hrgović in terms of who he fights next. Obviously, this Babic has been spouting, saying he wants to fight. He's not going to get the fight. Let's be real. He's not fighting Hrgović. Hrgović wants someone in the top 10, top 15. I don't think they're going to go down the mixing prospect with prospect route, because in my head, I'm thinking Yoka would be fantastic, completely different styles, and that'll be a good fight. I don't think they're going to go down there. So I'm intrigued to see what happens next with a Hrgović. I do wonder if what happens with the... No, he's not going to fight that. I was thinking, does he fight the loser of Dillian Whyte Povetkin? But no. Does he possibly fight the loser of Chisora Usyk, which I think will be Chisora? I doubt it. There are other names out there, but I don't know. Helenius is a good shout, but again, promotional companies, who knows? But that's a good shout. That's a decent fight. Helenius coming off that very good win against Kalnaki. That could happen. Quick shout out as well to Israel Adesanya, who got the job done yesterday in just so impressive fashion against Paulo Costa. Well done to him. That was good. I'm just trying to see. Did you guys watch, as I just try and find some more news, did you guys watch the Fight Hype, I think it is Fight Hype or Fight Hub discussion between Gervonta Davis and Mike Tyson? I really like that. That was interesting to see. I like what Mike was saying. Like, Mike was basically trying to say, even if you do, like, friends can fight each other. Like, friends fighting each other, this is quite weird. Like, friends fighting each other, good, because you're making money with each other. And Gervonta Davis was like, Devin Haney and those guys aren't my friends, which is interesting. But it's an interesting way of thinking about it. Like, friends fighting each other, you both make money. So I've never thought of it like that, because I was thinking friends wouldn't want to fight each other because you're hurting each other. But he's like, well, you're going to hurt each other fighting other people. Why don't you make money with each other? Which was interesting. But you also asked him, when are you fighting Loma? Like, when you fight Loma? And Gervonta Davis was like, oh, Loma's got a fight coming. Yeah, interesting. Also, talking about Loma, Teofimo Lopez posted a photo. Obviously, this fight is 3 weeks away now. Posted a photo saying that he's he actually showed the scales, 146.6 pounds, I think. 3 weeks away. He's going to make the weight comfortably. I think people were worried about him. He'll make that easily. So 10 pounds in 3 weeks easy. But I was thinking, what does he walk around at? If he's 146.6 pounds now, where he's full on in camp and stripping all that fat away, right, to the point where it's just lean muscle now, what does he walk around at? 170? 180? I'm being serious. He must walk around at a massive weight, because this guy's been in camp now for about a month. And he's 146 pounds. There's no way. I thought that he could be 160. Nah, he's heavier than that. He's a big, big boy. Whereas I don't think Loma walks around at nothing above 147. I don't think Loma walks around big at all. Interesting. This is such an interesting fight. I can't wait for this one. All right. Is there any business to talk about before we pack up? Let's have a look. I think there might be a couple more bits. Bear with me. So we quickly pop on to Coppinger's page. Let's have a look at what Coppinger's saying on his Twitter page. Actually, let me quickly just do it by my phone. Sorry, peeps. Apologies. Not much. Not much. Just more about Charlos, to be honest. Yeah, impressive. Very impressive with Charlos. I thought the scores, 118, 110 was far too wide. 116, 112. This is the Jamal against Derevyanchenko. I can fuck with. 118, 110. No, that's not, nah, not for me. No, nothing in there. All right. Yeah, that's it. We are done. Peace, people. Peace and love.